Hello there, and welcome into an RTIC Cooler Talk. I'm Drew Dougherty with my good pal Deepi Sidhu, and we're here to answer your questions. Send them in. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can. Can't promise you that we'll get yours, but hey, we're going to try. And Deepi, lots is going on this week. We heard the news about Bill O'Brien becoming officially the GM. He was given the title, and Jack Easterby getting the Executive Vice President of Football Operations title as well. J.J. Watt is going on Saturday Night Live. He was on Jimmy Fallon last night. You saved the gif of him dancing, which I thought was pretty impressive. It's kind of an interesting week here in Texas.
There's a lot going on both sides of. There's on the entertainment side, on the football side,
and the Super Bowl,
and the and then the Super Bowl is happening. Yeah. But we have a lot of players and former players that are out there on Radio Row in Miami. So social media has been sort of blowing up with all the news this week. I'm sure we're going to get to some of those questions. You did not watch, and JJ's on Saturday Night Live. Did you watch the Fallon? You did not.
I didn't. It's not because I was protesting or anything. I just I've got 17 little children at home, and I'm tired, and I wake up early. And
I watched it this morning on Twitter, but I retweeted the GIF of his dance celebration, which I mean, now we're going to start using that all the time.
He needs to get in the end zone more often. You know,
he needs to use that dance.
When he's getting in the end zone, good things are happening for this team. So let's see that. JJ, can you score some more touchdowns, please?
I like that.
Would you do that? Because they could use them in 2020. I almost said 2019, but they could use more touchdowns next year. Send in those questions, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube. Send us where you're calling from, or not calling from, but where you're sending that question from, and we will do our
I feel like I'm very
best
close
to answer it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. It's all good. We got this one. It's what do the new titles for the coaching staff mean for the future of the team? That's from Scott on Facebook. And so Bill O'Brien was given the title of general manager. We saw that Cal McNair, team CEO, had said not much has changed with regards to that. Now, the people that are also helping evaluate talent and cover the draft and cover the pro personnel side, many of them have remained the same. So as far as future of the team, we'll see. But Bill O'Brien is the guy making the decisions there, and I guess the buck is stopping with him, as many would say. But he's also been very forthright about making sure that there's a team effort of folks that are doing all the evaluation of college players and pro players throughout the league.
Yeah, I would just add to that I think the coaching titles don't really mean anything, because that's really how they've been operating since last summer when they released Brian Gaine from his general manager duties. That's essentially what it was. It was Bill O'Brien was the GM and the head coach acting. And then Jack Easterby was brought in to sort of help on the player development program and also on the football operations side. He sort of, filled several different roles. He didn't have his official title was executive vice president. It's just changed. Now he's in charge of football operations. I think what it means for the team is that we know now definitively there's not going to be a GM search this offseason, because last year, as you know, there were reports that the Texans were pursuing Patriots general manager, or I guess head of personnel there, Nick Caserio, and there was a lot of chatter that would the Texans go after him this offseason with his contract going up. And so I think what this release means is that they're not going to be doing that. It will be Bill O'Brien as head coach and as a general manager, at least heading into this season. And for all intents and purposes, nothing really changes as far as how the team's been operating for the last year or so.
Yeah, and a lot of you are asking this question, and I'm not going to put a name with it, but a lot of you are asking, will Bill O'Brien get fired? No, Bill O'Brien's not going anywhere. Bill O'Brien is not getting fired. He's the GM. He's the head coach. So, no, he's not going anywhere.
I think that statement also lets you know that he's not going to be fired, because they've officially put out a statement that he's the head coach and general manager.
That's a pretty clear
So I think
one.
that answers that question as well.
Yes. So send in those questions, Facebook, YouTube, we'll answer them. Deepi, as far as Saturday Night Live goes, JJ is going to be on that. He's the 11th football player to ever host
I saw
a Saturday Night Live show. That's kind of a big deal, don't you think?
I mean, I think it's a huge deal, because usually you get, quarterbacks. I think in recent history, that's who I remember. I remember Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. While they were phenomenal, didn't it seem like it was, I think Eli Manning was on there, although I don't remember that
Both
one.
Both the Mannings, Joe Montana and Walter Payton, they co-hosted.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Guys, yeah.
But it seems like JJ, for not having won a Super Bowl, I mean, he is a superstar in his own right, but I think he's going to be so funny, because just in our interactions with him here, he can make an everyday Wednesday press conference very entertaining, because these guys have to talk every single week in, week out to the media. JJ's a Wednesday guy, so he comes up to the podium and he talks to the media every Wednesday, and you think, how can we still be asking JJ questions? He's been asked everything under the sun. Yeah. Yes, he has. And yet he'll still throw in a little nugget or a little story, or he'll joke around with the media members. I mean, he's just so entertaining on a day like a normal work day. So I think with a week of preparation and that really talented staff and cast at SNL, I can't wait to see what happens. I saw a picture of a mask.
They're making a mask.
They're making a mask, and I don't know what that is. And I'm going to be looking. I hope they use that skit because it's going to bug me if they don't, because I want to know what that mask is for.
Derek on Facebook coming at us with this. What's the number one need in the draft this year? I think pass rusher is definitely at the top of the list. Cornerback as well. So pass rusher, they need to get after the quarterback a little bit better than they were able to at the end of the season, because JJ did come back. He did get the sack in Buffalo, but boy, Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City were able to kind of do what they wanted from the second quarter on, and you got to make things uncomfortable for them, because you're going to see them again at least in the regular season next year. And if you want to go to the Super Bowl, odds are you're probably going to have to go through those guys again, whether it's here or whether it's there. So you got to get after Patrick Mahomes and make things uncomfortable. You were able to get a strip sack against him the first time you beat him up there back in October. And I think pass rusher is a definite thing you're going to see the Texans try to address, try to upgrade come April.
Yeah, because you have J.J. Watt, but you can't just rely only on him. He's obviously, he's getting older in years, and with injuries to him, you don't have Jadeveon Clowney. You didn't know that this time last year, but now heading into this offseason, it's J.J. Watt, it's Whitney Mercilus. You know what you have there, but it just makes it easier when you have several really elite pass rushers, because you can't double everybody. And when we saw when JJ went out, when you double Whitney Mercilus, it'd be nice if you had someone else, stepping up to make some plays. When JJ comes back, obviously it helps because JJ does so many things against the pass, against the rush.
He's slaloming through about 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah,
so
and
that's going to leave things open.
You're not going to get another JJ Watt. I just don't think that's going to happen. But it'd be nice if you have, you can add some depth to pass rush and a good starter, and then some depth. And like you said, to the secondary, they signed a lot of cornerbacks this year, throughout the season, but it'd be nice to keep adding there as well. So I think defense is going to be a big need for this team this year.
No doubt. All right, Nakib on YouTube. And Nakib, if I pronounce your name incorrectly, I apologize. What are your thoughts on Anthony Weaver? Love Anthony Weaver. He's a great guy.
He's great, yeah.
This is exciting news. It's the reports that he's the defensive coordinator. There will be an announcement, I'm sure, in the coming weeks that makes it official from the Houston Texans. But Anthony Weaver played in the NFL for a while, played at Notre Dame before that. He's been on a few different defensive staffs as an assistant coach. He's been here in the building for the last few years, and I think you're going to see some really good things from this defense. He's a very clear communicator. He is good at getting his message across. He's got the respect of his defensive line room and really across the board defensively from a lot of the guys you talked with. I spoke with a few of them on the red carpet at the Houston Sports Awards last week. Guys like Whitney Mercilus, Brendan Scarlett, Jake Martin, all very enthused that he's going to be in charge of this defense. And it's interesting when you hear from JJ talking about Anthony Weaver in the defensive line room. He gets the concepts and he gets the messages and the schemes across to these guys in a way that kind of energizes them and gets them excited about it and helps them learn it. And these guys have said, compared to other guys that they've been under in the past, it wasn't as easy to grasp some of this stuff. So he's a good teacher and he's a good educator. Hopefully that pays dividends with the defense, because he's replacing a legend in Romeo Crennel, and I think good things are to come.
Yeah, I think this is not a huge surprise that Anthony Weaver is ready for a defensive coordinator role. He's played for some prolific coaches and with some prolific players in his career. And, I remember during the season we had Travis Johnson on one of our radio shows, and he played with Anthony Weaver. And he said when he watches this D-line play, they have the personality and they sort of mimic the skill set of Anthony Weaver. He said, you definitely can tell that he's put his stamp on this D-line because they look like him when they're out there, if that makes any sense. But I think he's done a great job with DJ Reader and Brandon Dunn and a lot of guys that sort of came in and have really contributed big time to this team. Obviously, J.J. Watt, we knew what he was before Anthony Weaver was here and before Romeo Crennel, but even he, I think they find ways to use him differently every single game. His role has changed over the years as well. I think the best thing about Anthony Weaver, I always hear that he's a lot of fun in the meeting rooms. Yeah. He keeps things interesting but competitive. He does this Jeopardy thing, which I think I would really enjoy if I was a player.
Yeah, that's what I was, talking about.
Quizzing players and making sure they're sharp and on their feet. He finds different ways, because I've heard this often with players. There's different ways that guys learn. Some learn through repetition. Some learn the chalkboard, some are in action. And I think
he knows that after
he
being in
knows
the
that.
league for 7, 8, 9 years. You know, he had to learn
Yeah.
in his own way, and then he saw it when he was an assistant. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun to see what he does when he's in charge of an entire defense. So
Yeah.
we will keep our eyes peeled for him.
Yeah, we're excited about that. I like what he's done so far, and I think the ceiling's still very high for Anthony Weaver.
Aaron on Facebook has this: what can we expect from J.J. Watt in 2020? I'm never going to count against that guy, bet against that guy, count him out, because he came back in 2018 after missing all of 17 and 16, not all, but most of 17 and 16 with really horrific injuries, and he was an all-pro. He was amazing. Last year had some bad luck, and it's just a fluky type of injury, that pectoral muscle tearing. But he was still able to come back and play in the playoffs, and knock on wood, when the playoffs finished, he was okay. You know, and he's not going to have to spend an offseason rehabbing, which is a good thing. He's going to be able to go through an offseason healthy and get prepared for 2020. So he's doing Saturday Night Live right now. I don't think if he was really injured and feeling poorly or in pain, he'd be able to go and do that, because while it's not playing football, it's performing. It's something that your nerves get going with, and it's a different task. So I'm excited for what 2020 brings with J.J. Watt. They're going to need him. They're going to need big things from him, and I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think we always expect big things from J.J. Watt in 2020. Obviously, injuries with any player, you're always worried about any player being injured, especially your star players like JJ, which is why it'd be nice to have some more pass rushing depth, more pass rushers either through the draft or through free agency this offseason, because you know there are going to be some games where JJ's banged up. He's probably going to play through as many of them as he can, unless it is an injury that requires surgery. But the fact that he came back from that pectoral injury, I think it opened everyone's eyes to how hard he really does work. And, you know, not to say that other guys don't work hard, but I love it when JJ's on the field. I feel like the team just feels different when he's out there. You could tell in that Buffalo game when he made that sack on the field how the air in the building just sort of changed. So I think the more we can see him out there, the better. But, you know, I don't expect him to have the best season he's ever had. I don't expect him to have the worst season he ever had. I just expect him to be a really good, solid, amazing JJ, which is better than most of the players out there.
When he's out there, he's an all-pro. I mean, he's one of the best in the game, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday.
Yeah.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame someday, right? All right, that's going to wrap it up. Somebody's asking if he's going to retire. No, he's not retiring.
No.
Not anytime soon.
He didn't tweet a picture of himself walking into a tunnel, out of a tunnel. Although I think that could be Tom Brady just saying, hey, I'm headed back to the field. Which way is he facing?
It's artistic, isn't it?
Things to think about.
Deepi, good stuff.
Thanks, Drew.
We did a cool podcast. You can learn more about my good pal to my right.
We
here,
did.
Deepi Sidhu. It's up on HoustonTexans.com, and it's on the mobile app. I'm going to tweet it out here in a little bit. I'm sure she'll retweet it here too. But check that out. Texans Radio starts Monday night, 6 o'clock, Sports Radio 610, and the Houston Texans mobile app. And we got Texans 360. That's 11 o'clock. Saturday night, ABC 13, KTRK, plus the app, the website. We got so many different things going.
Lots of things going. It's the off season, but not
out.
really.
Yeah.
You can always keep up to date.
And we're going to wrap this up by thanking Amanda Caffey and Tyler Marcotte for doing everything they do behind the camera, behind the scenes, and making everything go so smoothly. All right. Have a great weekend. And, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I think the Chiefs.
Think so?
Maybe I'm just rooting
I
for the AFC.
think the Chiefs should win because of their offense, but then I remember how great that San Francisco defense is.
It's going to be fun.
You say Chiefs, I'll say
to
49ers.
watch. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one.
It's a win-win situation.
All right, see you later. This has been an RTIC Cooler Talk.